joining us for this COVID-19 and City News briefing for Monday, January 25th. We have a very important announcement we wanted to put at the front end of this briefing, so if those of you who qualify can go ahead and jump off this and go take care of what might be available for you. The Hattiesburg Clinic, Forest General Immunization Clinic they've been doing at their office on 28th Avenue, has a limited number of new vaccine slots for first doses that is now open on Iris only. There is no phone number to call. If you call the phone number, it's going to direct you to Iris. But if you know someone who meets one of the categories, whether they're over 65 or whether they have an underlying health condition, they can go right now to their Iris account with Hattiesburg Clinic and sign up for a vaccine right now. And there are only 500 of these as of early this afternoon, and so you definitely want to go ahead and book right now because these spots are not going to be open for very long. But that opportunity is available, and so we encourage folks who are on Iris to go ahead and book their appointment for their first vaccine if they're in the eligible population. So on to today's numbers. Right now we have 77 people who are positive for COVID between Merit Health Wesley and Forest General, and of those 77, 27 are in the ICU. Some good trends here. Even though it's 77 still, we've been on a steady decline over the last week, and so considering just 10 days ago we were well over 100, coming down now to 77, we hope that that trend continues. That's what we're going to watch over the next few days. Our statewide cases today, 927 new cases with 5 new deaths. Unfortunately, 2 deaths over the weekend were reported in Forest County. We send our thoughts and condolences to that family, which brings totals now to 124 deaths in Forest County and 65 in Lamar County. New positive cases as of today, Forest County had 28, Lamar County had 16, and since this began, Forest County has seen 6,236 total infections. Lamar County has seen 5,074. Our 5-day average, again, this is something that's stabilizing as well. Now between both counties, we're right in the high mid-70s, and so we're hoping that trend continues as well. The inside 14-day number is another number we watch. It's the number of people who've received their positive test result in the last 2 weeks. In Forest County, that number is now at 503. In Lamar County, that number is at 463. Again, that's potential active cases. The good news here is this is the 4th day in a row that our potential active cases, that number has been under 1,000, which is a positive thing to see. Compared to a week ago, we're seeing decreases across the board. Forest County was at 582 inside 14-day a week ago. They're at 503 now. Lamar County was at 574. They've dropped to 463, a decrease of over 100. And so metro area total has gone from 1156 down to 966, almost a drop of 200 in just a week. Hospitalizations also down. 96 a week ago, down to 77 today. ICU 33 to 27. Our goals continue to be protecting the vulnerable, people over the age of 60, people with underlying or chronic health conditions. We also want to prevent overrun of the healthcare system by slowing the spread. And one number we like to keep an eye on right now because hospitalizations are high is our bed capacity. At Forest General this morning, there were 25 acute beds open. Of course, we're coming out of a weekend, so that's somewhat to be expected. 2 ICU beds open. Merit Health Wesley had 20 acute beds open with 1 ICU bed open. And again, in the mornings, both hospitals tend to discharge a lot, and then as the afternoon goes on and people are checking in from surgeries and emergency room visits, that number will tend to go back up. So positive trends we want to point out to you. The inside 14-day number stayed under 1,000 again, 4th straight day. That's the lowest. The 966 today was the lowest we've seen in our metro area, Forest and Lamar County combined, since December the 7th. Hospitalizations found their way under 80. That's the lowest total since November 29th. And so just in terms of thinking through what this means for us, we're going to continue monitoring these numbers over the next few days. We really want to see if that hospitalization number really potentially is a trend and we start seeing some lower numbers dropping under 70. If that's the case, then hopefully as we learn more about the qualitative data in terms of average age, we'll get a better idea on where things are headed this Wednesday. But if that's the case, as this next executive order looks to expire at the end of next week, we're going to take a look at potentially expanding in-house dining, maybe even bar hours as well, to see if it's time to maybe do that. Of course, mask mandates will remain in place, but we really do try to keep an eye on our local data to drive those policy decisions. But when we set hours and we set restrictions is really about trying to preserve bed capacity at our hospitals. And so as hospitalizations come down, it really does give us some flexibility to maybe open some things up. So we'll keep an eye on that and keep you updated as time goes on. City news, we did learn over the weekend that Hawkins Elementary received an historic preservation grant from the Mississippi Department of Archives and History. Over the weekend, it was one of 18 projects that were funded, and it was the only active school that was funded. The grant amount was $35,200, which is slated for roof repairs at this facility. The real benefit of this is that, Hattiesburg Public Schools a couple of years ago, when they did their property survey, had about $40 million worth of needs. And then when the residents of the Hattiesburg Public School District renewed the school bond, it was for just over $22 million. And so the rest of those capital needs have to either come from the school's general fund or it has to come from outside sources like this. And we're lucky in Hattiesburg to have 38 structures, several of which are schools, that are under Mississippi landmark status, which means they can apply for this grant. And so we really want to make sure that we thank our legislative delegation, particularly Representative Missy McGee, who hand-delivered our application to the Director of Archives and History and really advocated for Hawkins as she did for Woodley last year when we got the grant in. So a positive development for our local school district, and we hope to see more of these going forward. Also, the Forest County Emergency Management Association will be giving out masks and hand sanitizer this Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at their Highway 11 office. As they always do, if you know someone who can't get out, someone who is disabled or elderly, they can call 544-5911 and have one delivered to them. Our act of courage today, a couple things for you. First of all, we see her every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 9 o'clock doing arts lessons for kids and activities on the Hattiesburg Parks and Recreation Facebook page. But we rarely do thank her enough. And to Abigail Allen and to Emily Gillespie, who put the programming together and have been doing this since the pandemic began, we say thank you to them for doing that. We also want to make sure that we mention the Hattiesburg Arts Council as well as the Hattiesburg Concert Association, particularly David Pello and Rebecca Johnson and Michael Pinto, who took some investment the city made in terms of arts outreach and really have made a fun, very needed break from this pandemic with their Music Move series, live music in very just random places, whether it's grocery stores, or the post office, or in the Pocket Museum. Not only does it brighten people's day, but it also gives a lot of musicians who have been without the opportunity to perform some much needed work. So thank you to all those individuals who make this happen on a regular basis. I want to remind you one more time that if you missed the first part of this briefing, you can get on your Iris account with Hattiesburg Clinic. There are a limited number of vaccine slots available. But as we end this Monday, remember to wash your hands, take care of yourself mentally and physically, wear a mask if you go out in public, do only what is essential, and remember, still, you're safer at home. Have a great rest of the evening.